This video, as you can already tell by the title and the thumbnail, at least I sure hope you can, is going to be over the tornado outbreak of March 21st through 22nd of 1952. I believe I actually covered this outbreak on one of my very first videos where it was almost an hour long, and I'll be honest, I don't like that one. I think it's the first one in this short summary playlist that I've made. But I wanna completely redo that one and obviously get rid of that whole thing and like separate out all those outbreaks because that's a bad format. I was just learning how to do it, but I digress. We obviously start with our overview. We had 31 tornadoes in just 24 hours. Now, that may not seem impressive when considered the super outbreaks, but granted, those are above average circumstances for that many tornadoes to form in case of the 74 Super 18 hours. 22 of the 31 tornadoes were F3 intensity and above. We actually had 11 F3s and 11 F4s. This outbreak was spawned because a low pressure had shot from Nevada all the way into Texas and then Illinois. Hopefully not into Texas and then Illinois on the same day. That's a very fast moving low pressure system. In total, more than or equal to 1,200 people would be injured. $302 million in damage was caused, and tragically 200 would lose their lives. We have 6 notables from this outbreak that is worth discussing. Our first one is the center point to New Hope, Arkansas F4. This tornado is disputed in rating. It's not exactly accurate, and that's because the 22 homes that it destroyed were not up to par construction-wise. And this is not up to par in 1952 standards. Obviously, homes have gone a long way since then, in the 70 years since then. This tornado had a path 21 kilometers long and caused 7 deaths and injuries. From the 22 homes destroyed, $150,000 in damage was caused. Our second notable is another F4. All of these are going to be F4s. Is the Kensett to Russell, Arkansas F4. This tornado tracked 23.5 kilometers, purportedly 2.4 kilometers wide. This tornado would injure 325, and tragically 50 would lose their lives. More than 925 buildings or just around there would be damaged or destroyed, and damaged in some way, shape, or form, whether that be minorly to possibly beyond repair. This tornado is still the 4th deadliest in Arkansas history. Another Arkansas F4, the Cotton Plant to Hunter F4, traversed 21.1 kilometers. 180 were injured, and tragically 29 lost their lives. Just in the town of Cotton Plant alone, $500,000 in damage was destroyed. In total, from the whole path, 214 homes were destroyed. Likely around that amount, I would guesstimate being damaged to some degree as well. Sorry about that voice crack there. Move on from Arkansas to Missouri, just a little bit further north. This is the Cooter, I don't know who decided to name that town, to Cottonwood Point, Missouri F4. This tornado had a relatively closer to average path of 10.5 kilometers. $600,000 in damage was caused from this tornado across its whole path. 100 were injured and 17 lost their lives. This tornado is documented to be up to 2.3 kilometers wide. According to Dr. Grisoulas, this tornado supposedly crossed the Mississippi River. He is the only one to document that it did do this, so that is entirely up to your interpretation. Personally, given how wide the Mississippi River it can be, I do not believe that it did. It certainly could have. It's not impossible, but still, he's the only one who said that it did. Aside from that, this tornado damaged or destroyed up to 200 homes. Our fifth notable is the Byhalia, Mississippi to Williston, Tennessee F4. With a course of 47.6 kilometers, this is definitely above average. The average is around 3.2 kilometers for the record. There were 16 fatalities and 74 were injured. It is possible that this tornado may have emerged with a completely undocumented tornado, the rating of which we clearly don't know because this tornado was not documented. There are many sources that do claim this. However, again, no documentation on the other tornado, so we have no real proof if this actually happened or not, or if it was just multi-vortex and the vortex is just assimilated into one funnel. What we do know is that this tornado did destroy 38 homes. This tornado is actually a former F5. The damage was found to not be significant enough to achieve the F5 rating. Our last notable here is the Boulevard to Chesterfield, Tennessee F4. With a path of 75.3 kilometers long, we are definitely getting into the long track range with this one. 157 people were injured and 38 died. This tornado damaged or destroyed around 600 homes and likely some buildings and structures with businesses in them as well. From this came $2.5 million in damage. It is possible that this tornado is actually the same tornado as the Byhalia, Mississippi tornado. However, they are listed as two separate tornadoes. If this is the same tornado, then that is a very impressive path of more than 100 kilometers long. Not that common. I think that this outbreak really shows the kind of unreliability of the Fujita scale. Not exactly just the Fujita scale in general, but retroactively rating tornadoes. We have two tornadoes that are disputed. One was downgraded, and another is on pretty thin ice because, in the grand scheme of 1952 building standards, even the houses that it destroyed were low quality, or at least quality that they shouldn't be in the bad way. And especially with rating tornadoes this far back, when it was first introduced in 1971, we're going back 20 years to 1952. Again, building quality isn't the same that it was 20 years ago from 1971, so we are having some issues with rating tornadoes. At least I personally find that there could be a lot of issues with doing so. This outbreak does hold a record. In fact, two of them. It has the fourth largest amount of violent tornadoes to its outbreak, only being surpassed by the 74 Super, 2011 Super, and the 1965 Palm Sunday outbreak tornado outbreak, obviously. It also has the fourth largest amount of tornadic fatalities within 24 hours. I believe that it is only passed by, again, the 2011 74 Super outbreaks, and also, if I'm not mistaken, the 32 Deep South outbreak. Very interestingly, from records that I found, this is actually one of the coldest marches in United States history since 1893. The fact that this march was well below average and that this outbreak was able to still sponge, and also the amount of violent tornadoes, definitely indicate the strength of the atmosphere for this even to happen, especially again in a very cold March and in Tornado Alley, more or less. Usually March is more Dixie Alley being active, so Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Last but not least, this outbreak impacted the same regions as the 32 Deep South outbreak and the 2008 outbreak. This is not the Super Tuesday one, at least I don't think it is, because I forgot to specify here. My bad on that. In any case, that is where our short summary ends. I thank you so much for watching until the very end, and I hope to see you in the next short summary of either tornado or hurricane, or the next weather topic video. Goodbye.